Hello. Grace Church welcomes you back. I know it's been a long time since we've met together to worship in person, but the vestry has worked for many months to prayerfully consider a safe way that we can come together again as a church. And they've implemented several guidelines based on public health guidelines to make sure that when we do resume worship, that we can be safe in doing so. These guidelines are to help us keep each other safe in this very uncertain time. These plans, however, are only as good as the practice that we give them. And so we've created this video to help guide you through the process of what reopening will look like in a safe way. Our first in-person worship will be on Sunday, October the 4th at 10 a.m. We ask that you do join us if you so feel led. Please know that we will also continue our live stream of the service, so anyone who does not feel comfortable joining us for the in-person worship can feel free to continue to watch that live stream in the safety of their own homes. You can do that by tuning into our Facebook page. Just go to Facebook if you haven't already done so and search Grace Church Waycross, like our page, and then you'll receive a notification when our services go live. Now, if you are feeling ill, if you've got a call for the sniffles, or certainly if you've tested positive for COVID-19, we do ask that you not attend in-person worship. Also, if you've had an exposure to someone who has tested positive for COVID-19, we ask that you not resume worship until a period of 14 days without any symptoms has happened. Now, I know that some of these guidelines may seem like a lot, but they're really very simple. We have developed, and Public Health has given us the 3 W's to help let everyone know what they can do to remain safe, and we're going to practice them as a church. The 3 W's are wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. So if you'll just remember those 3 W's, you'll have really all the basics of everything that you need to know. But because we want to make you completely comfortable with the process, we're going to go into more detail in this video about what you can expect when you attend an in-person worship with us. Also, if for some reason you're unable to wear a mask during the service, we ask that you not attend the in-person worship. Rather, you should worship with us through our live stream. Now, from the time that you pull up to the church, you're going to begin observing the social distance guidelines. So we ask that while you're in your car, you go ahead and put on your mask, being sure to cover both your nose and your mouth with the mask. When you approach the church, be aware of others around you who may be approaching the church and begin maintaining the social distance as soon as you exit your vehicle. Now, as you approach the church, it will be natural if you see others to want to talk to them. We encourage you to do that, but we just want you to remember to maintain the 6 feet of social distance when you do. Now, as you enter the church, you're going to be sure to maintain social distance. If you have a mask with you, you should already have that on. If for some reason you do not have a mask, one will be provided for you at the usher station in the portico. At that time, as you're entering the church, you will also have your temperature taken, and a series of questions will be asked regarding your potential exposure to COVID-19, as well as if you were displaying any symptoms of COVID-19. We will be recording both your name, phone number, and email address. That will be used in the event that we have to do contact tracing and notification of a potential exposure to COVID-19. An usher will assist you as you enter the sanctuary. And as you enter the sanctuary, you will notice that we have the pews marked off to help maintain social distance between the pews. When you enter the church, if there are others with you who are in your household, feel free to sit with them. And of course, people within your own household, you do not have to maintain social distance between. However, we do want to maintain social distance between people within the same household and other folks not in their household. So just be sure and do that when you're selecting your seat. We will have a collection plate in the center aisle. You can either drop your offering in that plate prior to the service, or at communion, or as you're leaving the service at the end of the service. Bulletins will also be available for you to use, and those bulletins will be reused at other services. So once you receive a bulletin, we ask that you take that bulletin with you and remember to bring it back with you when you attend a future service. Our capacity for the service is set at 50. That is in accordance with CDC and public health guidelines for our church building. So we will not be able to exceed a number of 50 within the church. If we do exceed that number, any persons after we've reached 50 will be asked to go home and watch the service on the internet using our live stream. Now, there will also be no procession at the beginning of the service, at the gospel, or at the end of the service. That's in order to maintain social distancing. We ask that you try your best to use the restroom before you come, but we will have restrooms available during the service. Those restrooms will be accessed through the door at the back of the church. Go into that hallway. The restrooms are located near Reverend Kitt's office, and use those. Those restrooms will be sanitized as they're being used. We will have ushers who will monitor the bathrooms and make sure that they're sanitized in between use. And we ask that in order to maintain social distancing, that only one person be in a restroom at one time. Also, during this time, we will have music to accompany the service. However, there will be no singing. We ask that you use this time to really listen to the music, to reflect on that. The selections of music are always meant to accompany the gospel readings. So just use that time to think quietly as you listen to the music and reflect on its meaning. I know that singing is a part of what we do, but right now we're just not able to. Maybe someday soon. We will pass the peace. However, passing the peace will look different now than it has in the past. We will ask that you maintain social distance, and we've actually provided some pool noodles that you can reach out and touch your neighbor with, to have some physical contact and yet maintain social distance while you're doing so. During communion, the ushers will direct you. Please also pay attention to the arrows that have been placed on the floor to mark the traffic flow. There will be a cross that marks the area where you will receive communion. Once you receive communion, we ask that you follow the arrows back to the outside rows of the church, and then take your seat and have communion at your seat. Now, if you do test positive for COVID-19 or have exposure to someone who's tested positive, we ask that you do let Reverend Kitt know. She will keep that information confidential so that your identity will not be revealed. However, we will use the records that we maintained of those who were in attendance at the service in order to do appropriate contact tracing and notification to the people who need to know that so that they can be tested.
and heart and feet of Christ to all you love. So together we may dwell in Christ and Christ in us. And the blessing of God Almighty, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be with you now and remain with you always. Amen.